Good evening, everyone. I'm Riley King, and welcome to the Riley King Newscast right here on the Riley King Network. Let's begin. First up, Massachusetts man pleads guilty in crash that injured 3. Let's take a listen to the video from WMUR News 9, Andy Hirschberger.
New video just into the news.
Sorry about that, everyone. Let's retry this again.
Some new video just into the newsroom. Right now, a Superior Court judge is deciding how long a Massachusetts man will spend in prison after hitting 3 people with his truck in Nashua in 2016. Philip Canale pleaded guilty today to 3 charges, 1 count of aggravated DUI and 2 counts of second-degree assault. Authorities say Canale was out at a bar for a night of karaoke when he lost control of his vehicle while leaving. 1 man suffered minor injuries. Ashley Crone broke her wrist and injured her knee. Crone's fiancé, Jason Guile, suffered life-threatening injuries, including severe head trauma, and remains in a nursing home to this day. The state is asking for 5 years in prison.
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report. Trooper injured in crash that sent cruiser over guardrail on Mass Pike. Let's take a listen to the video from WCVB Boston.
This is where the state police SUV finally came to a stop down the hill, right in the middle of all these trees, fortunately missing all of them. Down the embankment and into the woods, the result of a collision. A Mass State Trooper hit by a tractor trailer on the Mass Pike heading west at about 7:20 this morning. The force of the crash pushing his SUV through the guardrail right next to the highway maintenance ramp along Edgell Road in Framingham. The trooper was rushed to UMass Memorial Medical Center in Worcester, conscious and alert according to police. Eventually, a tow truck operator able to pull the SUV out of the woods, dangling in the air before putting it on the lift and towing it away. A couple of hours after the crash, the tractor trailer with Expo on the back of the truck, which had pulled over, continued west on the Pike. The driver of the truck, registered in Indiana, was not injured. Meanwhile, one more look at the guardrail, and despite all the trees, somehow the trooper did not hit any of them. And a live look at MassDOT crews. They are replacing that guardrail that was struck earlier this morning. Now, as for this trooper, he is expected to be released from the hospital soon. The driver of the SUV, I asked state police about that. They say at this point, there haven't been any charges, but all of that is under investigation. Live in Framingham, Josh Brugadier, WCVB, News Center 5.
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report. Florida man who claimed 451 Mega Millions jackpot originally from Maine. Let's take a listen to the video from WMTW News 8 in Maine.
We are truth. learning the sole winner in last week's $451 million Mega Millions jackpot is originally from right here in Maine. 20-year-old Shane Missler lives in Port Richey, Florida now, but he's from Livermore and graduated from Spruce Mountain High School back in 2015. So last week he matched all the numbers with a quick pick ticket from a 7-Eleven in Florida and came forward to claim his prize today, opting for that lump sum payout of, get this, $281 million. The 20-year-old, yes, 20, put out a statement through his lawyer saying he's going to take care of his family, educate himself, and have some fun along the way. Fun, that is, along the way. He also just retired from his job at a background screening company. Retired at age 20, Megan.
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report. Very cool indeed. Now let's take a look at your U.S. stock market and see how your U.S. stock market did for this Friday. And here's a look at that market right now. As you see, your Dow Jones Industrial Average closed in the green and went up. Your Nasdaq closed in the green and went up. S&P 500 closed in the green and went up. CNBC IQ 100 closed in the green and went up. Gold closed in the green and went up. Oil closed in the green and went up. US 10-year closed in the green and went up. Euro/USD closed in the green and went up. And VIX closed in the green and went up. All of it closed in the green. A good day in the markets. Stocks surged to record close. Have best start to the year since 2003. Stocks rose to record highs on Friday after some of the major finance companies in the U.S. reported strong quarterly results. Opinion. Trump's beep remarks are a sad moment for America and the White House. Let's take a listen to the video from ABC News.
Coat when it's freezing outside.
That's why we're at Burlington.
They have coats for play, work, the weekend, at prices you would not believe. Wow.
Hey, cold weather, we're ready for you.
Thanks, Burlington.
We always come to Burlington to buy our coats.
And we also come to give them back, to help those in need. Can't beat the brands, the styles, and when we donate a coat at Burlington, we get 10% off our entire purchase. It makes buying coats here even more meaningful. Bring in your coats!
We're going to bring in Cecilia Vega, our senior White House correspondent, also Matt Dowd, our chief political analyst. We should also say we reached out to everyone in that meeting yesterday. No one agreed to come on the show. But Cecilia, first things first, we've seen the bipartisan reaction here in the United States, Democrats and Republicans condemning the president. Alarm overseas.
And this is what the world woke up to, George. The South African ruling African National Congress called this extremely offensive. Take a look at what the former president of Haiti, Laurent Lamont, said. He said, quote, totally unacceptable, uncalled for. Moreover, it shows a lack of respect and ignorance never seen before in the recent history of the U.S. by any president. Enough is enough. But, George, we got to go back to what's being said here at home. Blatantly racist, vulgar, un-American. That is the resounding response to this from both parties right now.
Yeah, both parties right now. And I have to say, as we said, we're not reporting the word right now. I think that's probably a mistake, because I don't think it's right to censor the president or to sugarcoat the racist sentiment revealed by how he used that word in the meeting. And Matt, I want to bring that to you right now, because this has alarmed so many overseas right now and here in the United States. You've seen the kind of reaction we saw to the Charlottesville comments by the president.
Well, it should alarm everybody. As George, everybody in this conversation today, most of the people at the studio today, and almost everybody on the other side of this camera, is a son or a daughter of an immigrant. I'm a great-great-grandson of Patrick Dowd, an immigrant who came here with no money, who those same words were used about his country. They were used about Greeks. They were used about Irish. They were used about Latinos. They were used about Asians. And the same thing. I think this is a very pointed remark. And the only thing I can think of, there's only one other guy, I think, like Donald Trump, who came from Queens, and it's Archie Bunker. And the only difference between the two of them is Donald Trump as president has more money, but probably less class than Archie Bunker.
John Carl, meantime, at this moment, there are some in the White House, they haven't denied that the president used the word, and some even arguing that this may help him.
Yeah, privately, absolutely no denial whatsoever that the president said exactly this. And I got to tell you, George, it's striking a lack of concern by those that we have spoken to at the White House about this. They think it's just, much ado about nothing. And this is the way normal people talk. It's just he's not politically correct. Obviously, that's not the reaction you're seeing in the real world.
And of course, to see this is not the first time we've heard comments like this from the president.
No, day one, Mexicans are rapists. Let's not forget, this is a president who was among the staunchest supporters of the idea that President Obama was not born in this country. The list goes on and on. Pocahontas, my African American. He has called himself the least racist person, but John hits the nail on the head. This is a conversation that was had behind closed doors in private company. I think a lot of people would be embarrassed if something like this came out for the world to see. For the most part here, the sources that we're all talking to seem completely unfazed by this, and perhaps are a little happy that the media, they would say, is hyperventilating over a controversy like this one.
So, Matt, unlike with Charlottesville, it appears that at least right now we're not likely to get a clarification from the president. Where does this go next?
Well, that's a good question. I mean, as I've said before, George, Donald Trump is like Wile E. Coyote. Every time you think he's going to have a success, he blows himself up in the middle of this. I would suggest to Donald Trump, and this is a few miles, the next time he goes back to his home in New York, he take the boat ride over to the Statue of Liberty and read the words on the Statue of Liberty, which says, "Give me your tired, your poor, your huddled masses, your wretched refuse of your teeming shore." Donald Trump ought to read those words and take them to heart.
And on another subject, John Carl, overnight, the president making a lot of news, a late-night tweet saying he's canceled his trip to Great Britain.
Yeah, he was supposed to be going next month, George. This is extraordinary. He's saying that he is not going because he is upset that the new U.S. Embassy in London was too expensive, more than $1 billion, and that the United States did not get enough money selling the old one. So he said he was being invited to cut the ribbon, and he will not do that.
Okay, John Carl, thanks very much. Thank you, Cecilia. Thank you, Matt.
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report. And we want to hear from you. What do you think about this? The president using that words of remarks. Comment below and let us know. We want to hear from you. And that's it for the Riley King Newscast right here on the Riley King Network. I hope you all have a great rest of your Friday night, and I'll see you back here tomorrow with more news. Good night, everyone. Bye.